As everyone watching this video probably already knows, Beerus is a character that is known for taking frequent and lengthy naps. When he woke up at the start of Super, he had been asleep for 39 years, and Beerus himself considers this a short amount of time for him to be sleeping. As everyone who has ever had to get up early in the morning on a small amount of sleep knows, it can be very easy to give in to the temptation of hitting the 5-minute snooze and going back to sleep. So let's say that Beerus, in an under-rested and half-asleep state, gave in to that temptation. Only for Beerus, his snooze wouldn't be a measly 5 minutes. No, Beerus would sleep for an extra 5 years. Battle of Gods takes place in age 778, so this would lead to Beerus waking up in age 783. That is roughly around the time the events of Dragon Ball Super Superhero take place in the main timeline. Beerus had a major impact on all of the events taking place between age 778 and age 783, so taking him out of the picture leaves us with a very different story. Something you may be thinking right now is, what about Whis? Wouldn't Whis force Beerus out of bed whether he likes it or not? I can't rule this out as a possibility, but for the sake of the scenario, we are going to say that Whis allows it. I feel like it wouldn't be all that out of character for Whis. After all, we know Beerus normally sleeps for longer than this anyway, and waking up early was Beerus' idea in the first place. Whis might see Beerus missing out on something that he was looking forward to as an opportunity to teach Beerus a lesson about how he sleeps too much. Whis wanting to do something like this would make sense considering we know from the Universe 6 arc that he doesn't approve of Beerus' laziness. So Beerus sleeps for an extra 5 years. So what? What actually changes for our heroes on Earth? Well, for starters, Bulma's birthday party goes off without a hitch. Goku might get slapped around by Bulma for either showing up late or completely forgetting, but either way, all is good on Earth. The consequence of things playing out this way is obvious. No Beerus means no Super Saiyan God Goku and no friendship between Bulma and Whis. Bulma and Whis not being friends means that Goku and Vegeta wouldn't be able to go train with him. They wouldn't even be aware of his existence at this point. Despite these changes, peace would remain on Earth for a short while. Pan would be born like normal and everyone would be happily going about their lives. Things would start falling apart for our heroes when the Frieza Force arrives on Earth to resurrect Frieza. You may be thinking that Goku and Vegeta are on Earth in this version of events, so they may interfere with the Frieza Force using the Dragon Balls. However, there is something you need to keep in mind. Piccolo has arguably the greatest battle IQ in the entire series, plus the intuition and wisdom of Kami, and even he didn't do anything to stop the wish in canon. I have my doubts that Goku and Vegeta would behave any differently. With this in mind, Frieza is revived like normal and restored to full health by his men thanks to their regeneration machine. Frieza would still be informed by his men that Goku managed to defeat Majin Buu while he was dead, prompting Frieza to train for 4 months in preparation for his revenge, just like he did in canon. After 4 months of rigorous training, Frieza would reach his golden form and immediately set his sights on Earth. Jaka would arrive on Earth an hour before Frieza's arrival to warn our heroes, but at that point it would be too late for them to do anything to prepare. You may be wondering about whether or not they could use the Room of Spirit and Time, but it wouldn't be available. Dende didn't get around to fixing the Time Chamber until the Universe 6 arc. Even if the Time Chamber was ready, it still wouldn't matter. Remember, in Battle of Gods, Goku went from multi-solar system level to universe level thanks to absorbing the power of Super Saiyan God into his base form. Going from multi-solar system level to universe level is an incomprehensible increase. Even if you say Goku at the start of Battle of Gods was galaxy level, that still means Goku had to have gotten billions of times stronger in his base form thanks to absorbing the power of Super Saiyan God. Goku then trained with Whis, pushing his base form even further, and even after all of that, Final Form Frieza was still able to contend with base Goku. There is simply just no way that Goku and Vegeta would ever be able to close that gap with only an hour of prep time, with or without the Time Chamber. Frieza would arrive on Earth and our heroes would be there ready to face him, but they would stand absolutely no chance. Frieza would transform into his final form and attack Goku while the rest deal with his soldiers. It wouldn't take long for Goku to be pushed into using Super Saiyan 3, but even that wouldn't be enough to so much as scratch Final Form Frieza. At this point, Vegeta would jump in as a Super Saiyan 2, but his contribution wouldn't make a difference. Frieza is just on an entirely different level. Fusion wouldn't be on the table because there's no way Frieza would give Goku and Vegeta the time necessary to pull off the dance successfully. Even if the Kais were watching the battle and decided to lend Goku and Vegeta a pair of Potara, the situation would still be hopeless. Even if we say that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta would be able to hang with Final Form Frieza, there is still absolutely no way he would be able to hold a candle to Golden Frieza. With all of that said, I think you know what is coming. Frieza would kill Goku, Vegeta, and everyone else present before destroying the planet for good measure. This is where the story of our heroes comes to its tragic conclusion. Following these events, Frieza would return to his post as Emperor of the Universe. The Universe 6 arc wouldn't happen because Beerus would still be asleep, and the Goku Black arc wouldn't happen because Goku would have never met Zamasu. From this point forward, there are two different ways that things could play out depending on what you personally think makes more sense. The first possibility is that Universe 7 will be destroyed thanks to Zeno erasing the low mortal level universes. The idea that Zeno was only going to destroy the low mortal level universes because of Goku giving him the idea of hosting a tournament is a misconception. Zeno was planning on destroying those universes anyway. Goku giving him the idea for the tournament just gave those universes a chance to save themselves. This means that even with Goku dead and Beerus asleep, the universes would still be at risk of erasure. The second possibility is that Zeno for some reason decides not to erase the low mortal level universes. This is what we saw play out in future Trunks' timeline, where Universe 7 still existed far past the point in the timeline where it was supposed to be erased by Zeno. It is unclear why exactly Zeno never erased the universes in this timeline. My headcanon explanation has always been that Zeno choosing to erase the universes earlier in the main timeline is just another consequence of Trunks' time traveling, similar to how Goku's heart virus was delayed in the existence of androids 19 and 20. Like I said previously, both of these scenarios I laid out are possible. If you believe the first scenario is the more likely option, then our story ends here. Beerus deciding to stay in bed that day doomed not just Universe 7, but all of the other universes we saw in the Tournament of Power as well. If you believe the second scenario is the more likely option, then the universes are not destroyed and Beerus would wake up in age 783 as we previously established. For the sake of continuing the video, let's say that the second scenario plays out and Universe 7 isn't erased. It is around this time that Chilai and Lemma would be sent into the far reaches of the universe to look for strong warriors to join Frieza's ranks. They would stumble across planet Vampa just like they did in Dragon Ball Super Broly and descend to the surface of the planet to see if there are any warriors worth recruiting. Their interaction with Broly and Paragus would play out the same way it did in the movie. This leads to Broly and Paragus being brought to meet with Frieza. Frieza would end up recruiting the pair of Saiyans into the Frieza Force. At this point in the story, Frieza has no reason to fear the potential of the Saiyans. He proved to himself on Earth that the Super Saiyan legend is nothing to him, and he has only continued to grow stronger since then. After realizing the extent of his own potential, Frieza now has ambitions of surpassing Beerus someday, so he has been maintaining a training regimen. Sometime after these events, Moro would escape from the Galactic Patrol prison and begin terrorizing the universe. With no Goku, Vegeta, and Good Buu alive to contest him, Moro would have no difficulty gathering the Dragon Balls on New Namek and making his wishes. Frieza would be informed about everything happening regarding Moro, but he would choose to not get involved just like we saw in the manga. Sometime later, Granola would learn of Frieza's resurrection and want to avenge his people. He would use the Dragon Balls to become the strongest warrior in the universe, just like we saw him do in the manga. Since Frieza is still actively training in this scenario, he would be in his own room of spirit and time when Granola makes his wish, so Granola would still be weaker than Frieza even after the wish. Granola would be stronger than Moro after the wish, but this doesn't really matter since Granola has no reason to go after Moro at this time. Granola would attempt to kill Frieza as soon as he gets the opportunity, but he would be no match for Black Frieza. Granola's quest for revenge would end almost as quickly as it began. If the Heaters attempt to mess with Frieza, then they would meet the same fate as Granola. This brings us to age 783, the year where Beerus finally wakes up. Beerus would quickly realize that he messed up big time and missed his opportunity to fight against the Super Saiyan God. Before Beerus destroys his own planet in a rage, Whis would inform him that although there may be no Super Saiyan God, there are two extremely powerful forces currently terrorizing the universe that could serve as rivals in their own right. This piques Beerus' interest. Whis informs Beerus about Moro and Black Frieza. Beerus decides to pay Frieza a visit first since he already has some history with him. Beerus and Black Frieza would fight, and although Beerus would have to try much harder than he did against Super Saiyan God Goku, I think he would still take the win. I know this is a pretty debatable matchup at this time, so let me explain why I think Beerus wins here. My reasoning is that Beerus' power has proven to be a moving goalpost. There have been like 5 different times now where Beerus was allegedly surpassed or matched by other characters, but it always ends up getting contradicted later. Beerus is the ultimate example of the concept of a character being as strong as the plot needs them to be. It is my personal belief that this trend will continue for many more years to come, meaning that Black Frieza at this point in the story shouldn't be able to beat him. Maybe I will be proven wrong in future chapters, but this is what I am going with for now. Anyways, getting back to the scenario, Beerus would likely erase Frieza since he never particularly liked him and is aware of his scheming nature. The last thing Beerus would want to deal with is Frieza trying to overthrow him. It is possible but not guaranteed that Broly and Paragus would be present to see Frieza be defeated, since Frieza would likely want to keep the Saiyans under his direct supervision. However, I don't think Beerus would take too much of an interest in Broly at this time, even though he is a Saiyan. Base form Broly is much weaker than both Black Frieza and Moro, so I believe fighting the two villains would be his main priority since he would find them more entertaining. Plus, Beerus would have no way of knowing about his true potential unless he decides to off Paragus for some reason. Instead, I believe that Beerus would allow the Saiyans to live for now, holding on to his dream that maybe one of them could turn out to be a Super Saiyan God in the future. Beerus would then set his sights on Moro, and their fight would be a one-sided stomp. No matter how much energy Moro may have stolen during his time spent terrorizing the universe, he still wouldn't be able to hold a candle to Beerus. He would be erased, meeting the same fate as Frieza. This is where our story ends. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Please also consider following the channel over on Twitch. I have a lot of fun stream ideas planned starting next week that you aren't going to want to miss. You can also drop a follow over on Twitter. I have been trying to become a lot more active over there recently. Your support means the world, and I can't thank you guys enough. Originally, when I started uploading to this channel, my hope was that I could make it to the 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of the year, but I had serious doubts about whether or not that would be possible. You guys blew my expectations completely out of the water. As I'm working on this video, we just hit 4,900 subscribers. So seriously, thank you guys. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and peace out.